Hello, 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 everyone. It is Stacey with an EY. For those of you who don't know me or know my story, let me give you a little bit of background. Before the age of 25, I was molested, I was raped, I had 3 abortions, I was hospitalized for attempted suicide, I had given birth to 1 child, I had to get my GED as a form of graduating from high school, I had 2 miscarriages, I had been fired from several jobs, evicted from 2 apartments, I had a car repossessed, I had moved 7 times, escaped 2 abusive boyfriends, I was in a horrible car accident, which totaled my car because I was hit by a drunk driver, and dare I say it even totaled my spirit. And although I was told to pray about it and seek wise counsel from church leadership, I had been hurt by more church leadership than I could even begin to count. Listen, y'all, I was tired beyond tired. I was humanly depleted and somewhat hopeless. God and my child were my only reasons that I saw a need for change. I just didn't feel like living this life anymore. Has anybody else ever felt like that? I don't mean that you were necessarily suicidal, but you just didn't want to life anymore. Now, the reality is you really hated or hate, because it may be present tense for some of you. You really hate the reality of your own pain. And I know, because that's exactly where I was. Well, although some people, very well intended, tried to course correct my life and fix me, they did it through the lens of shame. Guess what? It only contributed and exacerbated the challenges I already had. To this day, I attribute the internal dialogue in my head to the voices of several people's narratives and definitions of me. Getting back to my story. My 7th move, which was my 7th move, was to Georgia. I didn't know anyone and no one knew me, and I have to say that this was the saving grace for both me and my daughter. You see, 1 year prior to moving to Georgia, I met a dynamic group of young women who had formed a sisterhood and a family, and they were willing to take on the challenge of me and my daughter and adding us to their fold. Y'all, it was life-changing, and when I say life-changing, it was life-changing. They inspired me, they encouraged and supported me. I thought it was mainly because they didn't know me or my backstory, so they had nothing to base their opinions of me on. But I came to find out it was simply because they were just genuine, phenomenal human beings. And although I had family and friends back at home in Ohio who loved me dearly in their own way, there's something about a clean slate, a reset, a recalibration, if you will. It just shifted the trajectory of my future and the future of my daughter, who, by the way, as young as she was watching, learning, and experiencing my trial and error years with the innocence and hope that I recognized from my own childhood dreams. Well, let's fast forward to the birth of Not Free Living. I have been asked why. Why did I start a company and call it Not Free Living? Why is it so important to me that I do this work? And why am I so passionate about helping other women to define their own success and live under the definition of it? Well, for me, the answer is quite simple. For many years, I was not free. Although I so freely gave of myself for the pleasure, the gain, and the gratification of others, it cost me greatly. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I was constantly living under the entanglement of others' projected as well as my own self-constructed knots. Let me tell you, some of these knots are so tight in my life that they created emotional, physical, financial, mental, and spiritual bondage that I knew that I alone couldn't untie. Interestingly enough, shame breeds a certain type of mindset, and I had adopted this mindset, and it developed into layers upon layers of denial and insecurity that I, like many of you, learned to mask with external assimilation, all the while committing internal assassination. Women everywhere are walking around, some with a metaphoric limp, crutch, or walker, pretending and striving to live through the pillar of what they call strength. But what they don't realize is that they're really weakening their ability to use their God-given power. Well, I've done my work, and I'm still working to untie those years of layer upon layers of knots. There are knots, unfortunately, that want to stay knotted, even if only by a thread. So today I support women and some men in untying their own knots. And although their experiences don't have to be the same as mine, they can still get the same outcome. I have learned to love me, and I even really like me. I like and I love my own company. I laugh with and at me. I smile when I see me. I don't take me too seriously, and I don't minimize what needs to be maximized, or vice versa. Every situation, challenge, victory, milestone, circumstance, and transition I now greet with my energy of opportunity for growth and development. Do I now live the perfect life? Well, hell no, I don't. However, my life is pretty damn fantastic. And it's not because I'm delusional or living within some fantasy, nor is it because everything goes well or that everything is perfect. But I have learned to shift my mindset, to focus on the options, discern what works best for me, and every day I continue to strive for the goal and the journey of knot-free living.